Hi everyone, Marie here from Marie Cooks Up a New Life. I'm here today to share another recipe with you. I think you're going to really like this one. If you're new to my channel, I'd like to welcome you. If you've been here before, welcome back. It's good to see you. I hope you're having a lovely day today. It's beautiful and sunny here today, although it is very cold. But I don't mind the autumn getting colder. You know, it's time for us to start eating some of those comfort foods and getting into some of the things that we couldn't enjoy over the summer months. The recipe that I wanted to share with you today is called, I've got it here, it's from off of my blog. It's called Spaghetti with Quick Bolognese. And my daughter, Eileen, she's been asking me for weeks now to please cook some spaghetti sauce. That's one of her favorite things. So I thought today I would put her out of misery and I would cook a lovely bolognese for you all here. I do have a new phone that enables me to pause the video, so we'll see how that works out, hoping that it goes very well. So bolognese. Bolognese is, I suppose it's Italian for a special meat sauce that comes from the area of, I don't know how to pronounce it, so if you're Italian and I pronounce this wrong, forgive me. Bologna, whatever, bolognese. Bolognese sauce. It's a rich meat sauce that's beautiful, served with pasta, spaghetti, you name it. It's just a really lovely sauce. So I've been making this quick version of it for many, many years. And it's the version that I think my daughter would enjoy and be able to cook in her own home. I do have one that cooks for quite a bit longer, which I'll leave a link to below on in the description box of this video. So yes, I've gotten myself a new phone. It does have a pause feature on it. So hopefully things will go according to plan today. So for now, I'm going to put you down here where you can see what I'm doing, and we'll get on with the recipe. Let me just move you here. I'm going to use my electric skillet to cook this in. I'm going to start heating it now. You want it fairly hot. So I'm heating it up to about 180 degrees centigrade, 350 Fahrenheit. So the first thing that you're going to need is one medium onion, peeled and minced. So I've got, can you see it? Yes, I've got an onion here. It hasn't been peeled yet. I'm going to just trim the ends off of it. The easiest way to peel onions, I find, is to just cut them in half, like so, and then take off the parts that you don't want. You don't want any of those papery bits. They don't cook very well. So there I have my onion. It's cut in half, and I'm going to chop it. So I can remember when I was going to culinary school over in the UK, my instructor, the head chef, he told me the day that we were learning cutting and stuff that I had very good knife skills. I don't know. When you're cutting things, make sure you cup your fingers in. Also, make sure you are using a really sharp knife. There's nothing more dangerous in a kitchen than a dull knife. And that's because it requires more pressure to force the knife down through the food that you're cutting. So if you do slip, it can really cause a lot of damage on your hands, your fingers, whatever. While I'm doing that, I'm going to just start to heat 1 tablespoon of oil in my skillet. Olive oil. I'm using light olive oil because that's what I like to use. I just think it's a waste to use extra virgin olive oil in cooking unless you know that the flavor is really going to make a difference. light olive oil usually is all that you're going to need. Stick that back in there. If you hear a little noise in the background, that's the heat in my house. It's been very cold these last few mornings. We've had a heavy frost on the ground. This last little bit, let me just chop that up. That piece of paper over there. Okay, let me just adjust. I've got some water on the boil here for the spaghetti for after. Okay, so it's quite warm. You're going to add your onion to the skillet. I'm not going to need this again, so I'll put this to the side. Add your onion to the skillet, and you're going to want to just saute it until it softens. You don't want it to color. Just gently saute it until it starts to soften. While it's doing that, you could be preparing your carrot. I've already prepared mine here. That's 1 medium carrot, and you're going to want to peel and either mince it or grate it. I've chosen to grate it. So you'll know that your onion's nice and soft when it starts to become a little bit translucent. And by that I mean you can almost see through it. But once again, as I said, you do not want to color it. So just keep stirring it around, making sure that it doesn't catch. Because when it catches, that's when it's going to start to color. So you do that for a few minutes. That's all it takes. I can see now that it's starting to get lovely and translucent. I don't know if you can see that from the camera or not. You don't need to have it cooked all the way through. And so to that you're going to add your carrot, which you should have peeled and either finely chopped or grated. Now, carrot, you might think that's an unusual thing to add to a spaghetti sauce, but it's not really. The carrot adds a lovely sweetness to the sauce that's really quite enjoyable. You'll add the carrot. You know, it's called a mirepoix, which is a mix of vegetables, usually celery, onion, and carrot. And these are the base for many sauces in cooking. Again, you don't want your carrot to color. Now, another thing you're going to need, and that's going to be, pardon me, a pound of Italian sausage. Now, you can use hot Italian sausage or sweet Italian sausage. My sister and I, we make our own Italian sausage, and it's really lovely. I've probably got a little bit more than a pound here this morning, so I won't be using all of this, but you'll want a pound of sweet or hot, your preference, Italian sausage, and you're going to crumble that into your skillet. I just love those sausage making days that I have with my sister. We have a lot of fun. We're always exhausted by the end of it, though, I'll tell you, because it's a lot of work standing for all that time and mixing everything up. But the sausage is really, really good. And this Italian sausage is excellent. Better than anything that I've ever found in the store. Do I want to use it all? No, I don't think I will. We'll see. We'll see how much that comes out to as I'm just going to wash my hands here. Where's my tool? And I'm sorry if it sounds rather loud, but, you know, frying food sounds loud. I've got this little handy chopper thing. Have you ever seen one of these? I saw someone using it on YouTube one day, and I thought, I have to have one of those for myself. And it helps you to just break up your meat as you're cooking it. So yes, my sister and I, we make our own Italian sausage, and it turns out really nice. I don't know when we'll be making it again. Usually we make 2 or 3 different kinds. The last time we just made the sweet Italian, and we made apple sausages. And the apple sausages are lovely, and so is the sweet Italian. Beautiful flavor. The time before that, we also made British Cumberland Sausage, but we weren't very happy with the way that turned out that time. The recipe that we used, we had made it one time before, and the recipe was really, really good, but the recipe we used that time, we couldn't find our original recipe, so we tried this other one out. I won't tell you what page it's from because it really wasn't very good. There was far too much filler in it. And if there's one thing I really dislike, it's a sausage with a lot of filler in it. You don't want that. You want your sausage to be nice and meaty and plump and moist. So I'll have to try and find our old recipe before we do it again, because really Cumberland sausage is my favorite kind of sausage. So you just keep breaking this up and cooking it until it starts to brown. Believe it or not, this is the first time that I've used this electric skillet of mine. Electric frying pan, if you want to call it that. It was one of the first things I bought when I moved into this house. But as you can see, it's quite large, and it's not something that I really have the opportunity to use very often. But I thought it would be perfect for today. I wonder if you can get smaller ones than this, because if I had a smaller one, I probably would use it more often. Just keep doing that until your sausage meat starts to brown a little bit. You can tell when it's just about ready because it starts to become a little bit quieter. When it first started, it was quite noisy, and now it's a bit quieter. I do want it to be a little bit brown though for this sauce, so I'm going to leave it for just a few minutes to let it go a bit more brown. Now, sausage making isn't as hard to do as you might think. I have a KitchenAid stand mixer, and it has a sausage making attachment, which enables you to be able to add the sausage casings and then push your, well, first you can grind your own meat, and then you can mix it with your spices and that and push it through this attachment, which helps you to fill the skins. And we don't bother to, the first time we did Italian sausage, we did fill skins. But we found that most of the time when we used it, we were squeezing it out of the skin. So the last time we made it, we just left it out of the skins. And to be honest, that's the way we prefer it. This is so handy to use in things like spaghetti sauce or lasagna, things like that. The apple sausages we do put in the skins. And of course, when we did the Cumberland, we put them in the skin as well. Sorry about that noise. So, the next thing you're going to need is about 4 cloves of garlic. Now, I don't have any fresh cloves of garlic here in my house today. If you want 4 cloves of garlic peeled and minced. What I do have is this, which is organic garlic. It's already minced, so I'll add about what I think is 4 cloves to that. 1, 2, 3, 4. Like guess that's about 2 teaspoons. That's what I would say. Again, once you add the garlic, you don't really want this to brown, because garlic which has brown can be kind of bitter. So we'll just turn that down a little bit now so that doesn't happen. Right, to the pork mince, the onion and the carrot and the garlic, you're going to add a half a teaspoon of crushed red pepper flakes. Now, that depends on how hot you like your spaghetti sauce. I'm not sure I want mine really hot, so I'm probably only going to add about 1/4 teaspoon, which I find fits just about in the palm of my hand like that. So that's your red pepper flakes. And you're going to want to add, my original recipe used 2 tablespoons of fresh oregano, and I don't have any. So I'm going to use about a tablespoon of dried. And this is just the simply organic oregano. So add that in. Now, I'll turn that back up a little bit because I'm going to add some wine to this now. Now, I went with my sister to the liquor store over in the UK, and I believe in the United States. You can buy alcohol in your grocery stores. You can't do that here in Canada. You have to go to a specific place just to buy alcohol. So I wanted to get a couple of bottles of wine for cooking. Now, I believe if you're going to use a wine for cooking, it should be one that you would also drink. I don't drink wine because I'm a Latter-day Saint, but I do like to use it in cooking. So I was a little bit unsure which red wine to buy, but this is a Cabernet Sauvignon, and it's a Canadian wine, Ducks Crossing, and this is what the person in the liquor store recommended to me. And you're going to need a half a cup or 120 mils of good red wine. This has got a lovely flavor. I mean, not flavor. Sorry, I don't drink wine. It's got a lovely color and scent. Smells really good. So you're going to add that. And I like to let it cook up a little bit so it condenses somewhat. Smells lovely already. Okay. Now, tomatoes. I like Italian tomatoes. Now you can either use 2 smaller tins of tomatoes or 1 larger tin. And you can use them chopped, or in this case today I'm using them whole. And you want them in tomato juice. Don't you just love these pop lids? I love them. Come on. It's not cooperating. This is a Mutti brand peeled tomatoes. They're Italian and they're a really good brand. Now, because they're whole, I'm going to want to squeeze them a bit while I'm adding them to the pan, because you don't want them like big chunks. So I'm squeezing them, breaking them up a bit as I add them to this pan. Well, that's a big one. This tin says it's 796 mils. And I guess that's the equivalent of 2 14-ounce tins of tomatoes. Okay, I'm just going to quickly go and wash my hands again because they're all full of tomatoes now. The other thing you're going to need, all that out of there. The other thing you're going to need is tomato puree. Sorry if I sometimes revert to British terms. And then once again, I'm using muti. And tomato puree over here is known as tomato paste. And for this recipe, you're going to need 2 tablespoons. Stir that in there. So I reckon a tablespoon is about that much. So 2 of those. Just stir that in. Let me see where I'm going with my recipe here. So I'm just going to break these tomatoes up a little bit more. And as far as this goes, your sauce is almost done. You're going to need to season it a bit. Don't really need a lot of seasoning. Oh, that smells good. I'm going to use maybe about a half a teaspoon of, let's turn that down now, that is boiling. Half a teaspoon of black pepper. And about the same of salt, because you can always add seasoning if you need it, but you can't take it away. So there's that. And now, just going to stir that all together. It's come to a boil, and now we're going to just cover it slightly and let it simmer for half an hour. And here's where I'm going to try that pause feature on my camera for now. I will see you soon. Hope